inspiration today is a quote that I have by someone called Corrie ten Boom, and she says, "Worrying doesn't empty tomorrow of its sorrows, it empties today of its strength." And I'll repeat it again. So worrying doesn't empty tomorrow of its sorrows, it empties today of its strengths. So you might have heard this quote before or something along those lines. It's easier said than done, isn't it? Sometimes, I grew up as a worrier, so I was always really fretting about the future, worrying about all sorts of things, and there's this kind of like anxiety that I sort of just grew to become accustomed to, that was sort of in my belly. So it's sometimes interesting with emotions that we feel them in a particular part of them, and then that's a good place to notice, like, where are we feeling that feeling? Okay, so that anxiety was kind of in my belly, and but the problem with anxiety, as that quote suggests, is that when we are worrying about things in the future, we don't really enjoy the day because we're constantly on edge. And I'm really lucky because I feel like with yoga, I've found a lot of tools to help me with that anxiety, right? So part of anxiety is that we get in our heads. And that's what the anxiety is, right? It's our heads telling us stories. It's our minds, our thoughts telling us stories about what might happen in the future. And it's only conjecture, it's not reality. We don't actually know what's going to happen in the future, right? So it's our heads telling us stories. So when we can get out of that, when we can get out of our minds and into our bodies, and that feeling of just how the things feel in our bodies, it helps us to get rid of anxiety or let go of some of the anxiety. So being active, yesterday I went hiking, so when you're active, then you're less in your head. And that's the same when we're doing yoga, right? We're actively moving the body so that we bring our focus to the movement rather than to what's happening in our minds. So I don't know about you, but my anxiety at the moment is peaking, like worrying about what's going to happen in the elections and what's going to happen going forward in the next few weeks, few months, few years. So that's where my anxiety is coming from. And I cannot change like what's going to happen. So there's no point me. It's one thing to have a worry and then to be able to change things, right? If I can think, okay, if I'm concerned about something and I can actually do something about it, then that's one thing. But in this case, at the moment, I've done everything I can, right? I've done what I can, and now I just have to let go and try and just be in the present, breathe, take care of myself, connect to my inner calm, and focus on the present instead of what's going on in the future. Okay? So we're going to play with that a little bit today in class, and it's so we'll be doing some movement. We'll be doing repetitive movement. If you find that you get in your head at any time, which will happen because we're human, just see if you can bring it back to what's happening in the moment. Okay, so we're going to sit up super tall. Just get very, very tall with your lengthen your spine. Close your eyes. Hands can come down your thighs. Relax through your shoulders. Let go here. And you can close your eyes. And just check in with yourself. Are you feeling any sense of anxiety or fear or whatever that might be? And just notice if there's any feeling within your body relating to that, or relating to stress or whatever it might be. So maybe you've got like tension in your jaw. Maybe you feel tight in your hips, right? Just notice where you feel that experience. And then bring your attention to the present moment. So when we're in the present moment, we very rarely have those fears because we're just focusing on what's moment. So check in and see what's happening here. Do you hear any sounds? What sensations do you feel in your body? Maybe your connection with the ground. If you're outside like me, maybe you feel a bit of a breeze. If you're inside, just notice with your eyes closed, just the vibe of being at home. Maybe a sense of comfort, whatever that might be. And then, of course, you can always come back to the tool of your breath. So bringing your attention to your breath, slowing it down, breathing through your nose, filling the lungs completely with the inhale, and then exhale, just letting all that air go, contracting. So breathing here. If you know Ujjayi breathing, that sound like the sound of the waves, or like Darth Vader breathing, it's that kind of constriction at the back of your throat. If you know that breath, you can go for that breath because there's a sound that goes along, and then that helps you to focus on the sound as well. If you don't, just breathing slowly through your nose. Just checking in with yourself, with your body, with your emotions today, and with your mind, just checking in. Without judgment. And then gently opening your eyes here. We're going to do some movement with the breath, reaching the arms up to the sky, up to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, arms can come down. So we'll work that for a while. Quite forceful through the nose. And close your eyes again if you like. To go a little bit more inward, finding that inner calm with hard work. And relax. Hands come down on the thighs, relaxing them, relaxing your whole body. Just you might be a little lightheaded with all that breath. Just notice you're okay. Take slow, deep breaths. And then we're going to open the eyes, switching the cross of the legs. We have your legs crossed. Fingertips onto the shoulders here. And we're just going to work again with the breath. Inhaling is center, exhaling is to one side. So we're just twisting with the breath with the exhale. And center. Relax with the hands, close the eyes. Just again, noticing how you feel. You might feel a bit lightheaded. You're bringing lots of oxygen in. That's okay. Just pausing, slow the breath down. Hopefully just get back to feeling normal again. And then you can open your eyes. We're going to interlace the fingers, opening through the elbows. Inhale. Inhale, looking up a little bit. Exhale, the elbows come together and we're just rounding through the back of it. So inhale, open. Exhale, just coming down. So it's not quite so forceful here. We're just doing long, slow exhales and inhales. And you can close your eyes again if you like, finding that inwardness, inward focus, up to you. So working with your breath, opening your chest here as you look up, and exhale, chin coming down towards chest. Last one. Coming back to center. Inhaling here, we're just exhaling, turning the head to the right. Inhale, center. Turning the head to the left. So we're just working with that, just opening with the neck. So just looking around the shoulder. Coming back to center, closing the eyes for a moment. Lovely. Now you can open your eyes, removing anything if you're sitting on anything. You're going to bring your legs out in front of you, bringing the fingertips down to the ground and helping yourself sit super tall. Now you want to make sure that you don't round through your back. So if you're rounding through your back, bending your knees a little bit, okay? And actually you can bring your feet out so they're just a little bit separated. And we're just going to come and make some circles with the feet going in a particular direction. My feet are coming towards you. It doesn't really matter. They can go the same direction, opposite directions. And then you're going to go the other way. That's harder to work out. So just going with your feet a little bit. Well, and then you can also then come center and just point and lift. Point and lift. Excellent. Now we're going to go a little bit harder and we're going to lift up through that right leg. So you're just lifting the heel up. Again, you can use your fingertips to help you straighten through your back. And then you're going to move that right leg out to the side. Inhale, lift, moving it back and then placing it down. So it's quite challenging, just a small movement. You're just moving it out to one side, lifting it up, moving it back. One more like that. Lift and bring it out. Lift. Notice which muscles are doing the work. Where do you feel it? Other side. Lift. Moving it out. Dropping it. Lifting it up and back. Again. Lift. Reach. Lift. Back to the center one more time. Lift. Stretching out. And coming back. Now we're going to lift up through both. So let's see if we can do that. And opening through both legs here. Inhale, reaching up here. And we're just turning over the right leg and reaching forward, just stretching those arms forward. Breathing deeply here. Toes are activated, so they're working hard in the process. Taking a deep breath. Inhale, reaching up through center. Exhale, over the other way. Maybe to begin with, we don't get very far. Maybe just lengthening, just ever so gradually through your breathing. Inhale, coming up through center. One more time, over to the right. Maybe there's a little bit more space now. Get a little bit longer. Maybe you grab onto your leg anywhere, onto your foot, and find some length here. And exhale, maybe coming down towards that leg. Or just stretching forward. All options are good. Breathing in. Inhale, up. Coming over the other way. We're just getting started, so don't push yourself too hard. You don't want any injuries. You're just playing and working towards your edge, but being gentle. And you can always grab anywhere on your leg. You can always come down any amount. And then inhale, calming on up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Feet come in. We're just going to open up through those hips a little bit. So you can grab onto the outside edges of your feet. Open your feet up like a book. And then maybe you've got some space here, so you might bring fingertips behind you and sit up tall. Or maybe you're going to lean forward and find some space here, trying to lengthen with your back. So you might get to a different space. It doesn't matter where you get to. Just find what works for you. Taking a breath wherever you get to. And slowly coming up, we're going to make our way into a downward facing dog. So you're going to spread your fingers wide. We're going to tuck the toes and fold, lift up with your butt, with your sits bones. You can bend your knees a lot here, finding length first through your arms, through your back. And then you can play with lengthening one leg and lengthening the other. So just working with stretching out those hamstrings a little bit, but being gentle. And then you might find that you get into a space where you can pause for a bit, but you can keep your knees bent in that space. So breathe here, taking a moment. We're going to then lift through that right leg, getting long through that right heel. Maybe making some little circles with that leg. Maybe inhaling as it comes up and exhaling as it goes down and around. And then making sure you go the other direction. We're going to then inhale, bring it up. Exhale, knee comes into nose, rounding through the back and stepping that foot forward between the hands. Back heel presses back behind you. Taking a moment here, maybe moving backwards and forwards. Breathing here. Now we've got some options here. I'm going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up through that back leg and bring that left knee behind the right. So it's like a Shiva squat. That left knee is bent behind that right leg. Now you've got options here. I'm going to try and lengthen that leg out. Now that might be a bit of a tall order. So if that doesn't work, you just bring yourself down and lengthen through that right leg. Oh wait, that's the left leg. I'm in a twist, so it's difficult to tell. So again, I'll show you one more time. So that back leg is out behind you. You're going to bring that knee in behind the other. And then if you can lengthen through that leg, lifting it off the ground. If that's too much, in any case, we're all going to come down. And what happens here is this right leg is just crossed over the left. And we've got left leg is lengthened, right leg is coming in. So you can just simply come into this instead. So we're going to then take the right hand, placing it behind the back. The left arm lifts, checking in that the toes are active here. And we're just going to twist. So we're going to place that left arm in on the inside of that leg and twist here. Taking a few breaths, finding your twist. Inhaling and exhaling deeply. Calming through center. We're actually going to twist and open twist here. So the right arm just presses on the inside of the knee and we're twisting the other way. Checking in with that lengthened foot. Excellent. We're going to bring the hands back to where they were at the front of the mat. So bringing my hand on the inside of me here. And we're going to then work on bring the toes forward again, and the left foot comes back. So we're now in a lunge again. Okay, so it's a little tricky, but we're doing all right. Keep going. Noticing when it's challenging, what happens in your mind. You give up, you have a hard time. Just breathing through it. You're okay. You're doing really well. Now this time we're going to take that left leg and we're going to bring the pinky foot on the pinky toes on the inside of the other pinky toes. So we're crossing that left foot behind the right. So we've got crossed legs here and the pinky toes are towards each other. Inhale, find a halfway lift. So you can place your hands on your legs anywhere. And exhale, we're going to fold down here. So this should help if you have sciatica issues. This is a really good pose to work on. Now you're going to walk your feet out to the right. And notice, your hands out to the right. Breathing here. Deep breaths. Notice where you feel this stretch. Calming back to center. That back foot, you're going to put diagonally out towards the right side. So I'll show you again. It's just going diagonally back towards the right. So it might seem complex, but just playing with it, you've got it. Now we're going to got left hand down on the ground. Right hand is going to come up to the sky. So we're doing a little twist here. And then you can play, maybe that left hip is going to come down towards the ground a little bit. And we're playing here with a slightly different pose. Now, we've got some fun here. You can stay here, this is perfectly fine. Or you can lift up, so you're kind of in a side plank. And that right foot will come back behind you. So the foot is pressing just behind you. And we're in almost like a side plank. And then you can play with pressing that right foot down and lifting that left hip up to the sky. Breathing here. Excellent. Then that back foot is going to come forward again. And we're going to have it in between the hands. The left foot is going to come back. So pinkies are together again. Inhale, halfway lift, finding that flat back. Exhale, folding down again over that leg. And again, you're going to come over to the right side, getting a little extra stretch in here. Lovely. Calming back to center. Left foot just steps back behind you. You're in a high lunge again. That knee can come down. Inhale. Oh, reach up. Exhale, coming into another twist. Hand comes down. Right arm comes back, twisting back. Inhale, calming back through center. We're going to place the hands down and we're going to come into a pigeon pose. So that front foot's coming over to the left side. The knee's going to open up, finding your pigeon pose. If this is challenging, you can always come into figure of 4. Breathing here, trying to get your hips even. Puffing up through the chest. And then bringing yourself down slowly into a pigeon pose, a flying pigeon. Breathing here, taking those deep, slow breaths that we started off with through the nose. Relaxing through the jaw. Relaxing through the shoulders. Maybe even closing the eyes here as you go a little bit more inwardly. Finding that inner peace. It is in there somewhere. Breathe. You've got this. And then you're going to slowly come on up, and you're going to press back into, sorry, I'm just turning so that you can see, you're just going to tuck the back toes, coming back into a downward facing dog here. Again, if you want to, you can bend one knee or the other, wagging the tail. Lovely. And then you can inhale, left leg can come up behind you, finding length. And if you'd like, you can play with coming into circles with that leg. With your breath, inhaling up, maybe exhaling down, and going the opposite direction. Inhaling up, exhale, rounding the back, knee to nose, and then that left leg steps in between the hands, and you can move back and forwards here. Excellent. I'm going to turn to the front again so you can see. So remember, we're going to take that back knee, and we're coming into a Shiva squat. So the back knee is bent, and it just comes behind the left knee, right? So you can stay here, or you can play with lengthening the leg out to the side, and the hip comes down. Finding a bit of humor if it doesn't work out, it's fine. It's challenging. And then you can bring yourself down. If you need to, just moving from the Shiva squat and finding yourself facing the other way with the left leg over the right. Toes activated here. Left fingers behind you. Right arm up. And we're just going to twist to the left side. Breathing here. Inhale, coming through center, and we're going to open the twist the other way. So right hand comes out, left arm is pushing into knee, and you're just twisting, looking over your right shoulder. Excellent. Hands then come back. So on the side of your leg, the toes can face forward on that left foot again. You're bringing your right foot back, heel pressing back behind you. This time you're going to bring your right foot and the pinky toe on the, so that it's touching the other pinky toes. You're crossing the legs here. Inhale, halfway lift, however that looks. Exhale, folding here. So trying to bring chin down towards the thighs or the knee. Just breathing. You're going to walk your hands over to the left this time. And breathe and notice where you feel this stretch. It might be quite intense. Breathe into that intensity or back off if it's too much. Taking another breath. And then coming back to center. That right foot, so the one behind, the foot behind, is going to go diagonally back towards the left side. So I'm going to go directly, diagonally back. Then I'm going to place my right hand down, left arm up towards the sky, looking up at the fingertips. That feels good. Now I can move my right onto the edge the inside edge. Sorry, take that back. Outside edge of that right foot. So I'm putting it on the picky side of the right foot is coming down to the ground. My hip then can sink a little bit here as I open up. Now, I can lift up through my left foot and bring the foot behind me, behind the other leg. So I'm just placing it behind the other leg, and I'm lifting the hips up to the sky, opening up here. Breathe. Excellent. Hand comes back to the ground. That left foot that's at the back is now coming back forward again. That right foot that's diagonally behind me, pinky comes to meet pinky. Again, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding down here. And then we're going to inhale, moving over to the left again with the hands. Taking a couple of breaths. And then coming into center and folding over one last time here. And then that right foot coming back behind you. Right heel pressing back. So I'll just show you from the side. And then that knee can come down. Inhaling. Reaching the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Right hand outside of the knee. Left arm twisting here. Taking a couple of breaths. Inhale, coming back into center. Hand on either side of that foot. Opening up through that hip so the foot is coming out to the right. Knee is opening here. Hips, squaring the hips off. So the tendency is to come down on that left side of the left butt. But then we're not even with the hips. So it's better to be up a little bit higher if we need to be and keep those hips even. Puffing up the chest and then slowly calming on down. Shoulders release, jaw releases, and breathing deeply here. Slow, deep breath. You can close your eyes. Just going inwardly. Checking in if you have thoughts coming through your mind, notice them. But just let them go. Don't attach to them and create stories in your head. Just let them go. They're just thoughts. Slowly finding your way up. Hands come down, tucking the back toes. The left foot comes back to meet the right. You're in plank pose just for a moment. And then pressing back, downward facing dog. Taking a breath here. And then we're going to come back into plank here. Knees are going to come down. And we're going to then come down all the way to the ground. So you can just bring yourself down here. Excellent. The fingertips coming on either side of your chest. Inhaling, calming up here. Opening here through your heart. And you can look over your left shoulder. Inhaling, center. Exhaling over the right shoulder. And then coming back to center, coming all the way down. You can place your hands on top of each other, forehead coming down. Just pausing here. We're going to bring the arms in front of us, interlacing the fingers except for the index fingers pointing out. The heels are going to come together and we're going to lift up the arms and the heels and the legs. So we're just lifting up here and breathing. Two more like that. And when you're ready, releasing, forehead down. Hands coming either side of the chest, pressing back. Child's pose here, knees open up, forehead comes down towards the ground. Appreciate how lovely this feels. It should feel lovely. And if it doesn't feel lovely, just doing your best in the pose. pose here. We're going to use our arms and we're going to sniff in 3 times, but we're going to do it slightly different than we've done it before. So you might want to have your feet about hips distance apart. So it's inhale, 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 the backs of the hands touch, and exhale out the mouth as you bring your hands down. So I'll show you with the breath. So join in when you're ready. You can do it with eyes closed if you want. Two more. And then just place your palms forward, close your eyes, and just noticing how you're feeling. And then you can gently open your eyes. Putting your hands on your hips, again you're going to have quite a bit of a wider stance. And we're just going to come into some hip circles here. So again, you can inhale, maybe coming backwards, and exhaling forwards, or whatever feels good. Just loosening up here. And then going the other direction. Lovely. Coming back, hands to heart center. We're just going to come into a tree pose. So you can have toes down, you can have them below the knee, you can have them above the knee, or you can even come into half lotus. So lots of different options here. If you're in half lotus, you can play maybe with holding those toes. If you're wherever else you're at, go for those. So I just like to give lots of options. It doesn't mean one is better than another. It's just playing so that we find that edge, and everyone has different places in different poses that work. So breathe here. Maybe for everybody, bring arms up overhead. Maybe feeling the wind as we're in forests or trees in the forest. Trying to keep your balance even when it's hard. Interlacing fingers, bringing the hands behind the head, and maybe just leaning over towards the right. And it doesn't matter if you come out of your balance. This is how we learn. It's by doing challenging things sometimes. Inhaling here, we're going the other direction. Inhale to center, lifting up through that leg, lengthening it out, kicking it. It doesn't matter where it is. Lengthen. Excellent. Releasing the arms, they can come into hand to heart center. I'm just going to turn to the side. And then you can just kick it back behind you, leaning forward and bringing that foot back down. Inhaling, bringing the arms up. Left arm just coming behind the back here. Right arm is going to just twist open towards the right. Inhaling, calming on. Lengthening through that front leg without hyperextending that knee. Inhaling here. And then just exhaling, we're just leaning, 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 reaching, reaching, reaching. Finding length. Inhaling, calming back up. Hands to heart center with the exhale here. bending through that knee again, interlacing through those hands, pressing down and back, finding openness through the chest. And exhale, folding forward, lifting up through the arms if that feels okay for your shoulder, or finding an alternative. Releasing the arms here. We're going to bring the right hand on the inside of this foot. The back toes can open to the side. We're just lifting up here. Extended side angle. If you want, you can reach the arm up overhead. You can come into any variation that you like with this pose. If you are in a bind, you can step forward and try and find half moon with a bind. If you are want to place a hand down or use a block, you can also work here to step that leg up, coming into half moon. So finding what works for you. Breathe. Coming back down, lengthening through that front leg, lifting up, finding your triangle. Maybe the right arm comes parallel with the ground. Maybe the left arm reaches up and over. And then inhale, coming up. Excellent. Hands come either side of that front leg again. You're on the ball of that back foot. Inhale, reaching the arms forward and up. Leaning forward. One more time. Reaching heel out, fingers out. Stepping up, lifting the leg. Kicking the foot out. And release. Hands to heart center. Closing the eyes. Slow the breath down. Slow the heartbeat down. Checking in with yourself. See how you're doing. You can always back off a bit if it's too intense. You can always ramp it up a bit if you like to. Your choice. Being kind, being compassionate to yourself. Other side here. Right. 4-part breath. Arms face forward, closing the eyes. Gently opening them, finding your tree pose, however that looks. You can have foot on the ground, you can touch a wall or some other prop. You can bring your leg up, or you can come into a half lotus. If you've got the ability, you can come into a bound half lotus, but no need to get there. Taking a breath wherever you are. Arms reach up, and you can move as though you're moving your branches in the wind. Hands then interlace behind your head, elbows out. Taking a breath here. Inhale, and then exhale, going down to one direction. Inhaling up, exhaling the other direction. Coming through center, leg lifts, inhaling. Exhaling, we're lifting and kicking it out. It can be wherever it gets to, it doesn't matter. And then bringing hands to heart center, you're going to kick that foot back behind you, that leg. And then coming down, warrior one pose. Great. You're going to take that right hand behind you to the lower back. Left arm twisting here. Breathing here, finding that twist. Inhale, coming through center. We're going to lengthen through that front leg. Inhale, bringing the arms up. And exhale, we're just reaching, reaching, reaching. Finding length here. back and down. And then exhale, folding forward, lifting the arms up. And then you can bring the hands down here. You can bring the left hand on the inside of that hand, right toes coming to the side, reaching up. Finding your extended side angle, maybe bring your arm overhead. You can maybe come into a bind. You can either come into a bound half moon here, or you can lift up with your back leg, wherever you are, finding your half moon here. Great. Leg comes back down, lengthening through that front leg, finding your triangle pose. The left arm comes parallel to the wall, right arm coming over. And inhale, finding your way up. Then you're going to bring your hands back down either side of that front foot, heel pressing back. Inhale, reaching forward and up. Lifting forward with the arms, lifting up with that back leg. Calming through center, kicking that leg out, placing it down. Hands to heart center, closing the eyes, slowing the breath down. And then we're going to come down onto the back. So finding a way to sit down first, and then rolling all the way down. Bringing knees towards the chest, rolling from side to side here. Giving your lower back a little bit of a massage. We're going to bring the feet down to the ground. On the inhale, we'll lift the hips and the arms. And exhaling, we're just calming on down. So working with your breath, inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, bringing yourself down. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, down. 3 more like that. Excellent. Legs coming up to the sky, lower back pressing down. So if you need to, bending your knees so you can bring that lower back down to the ground. Shoulders pressing down into the ground. Waterfall pose. Taking 3 deep breaths here. Excellent. Bending the knees, coming into happy baby, feet up to the sky. You can always grab anywhere on your legs. You're trying to bring the knees on the outside of edges of your body, so down towards the ground, next to your chest. Feet up to the sky. Again, you can try to get your lower back down to the ground and move from side to side. And then we're going to give ourselves another hug, an unconditional hug here. So recognizing all the challenges that we're dealing with is hard. And then you're going to bring the knees over to the right side. Left arm can come out, left shoulder pressing into the ground. You can look over your left arm if you like, if it feels okay for your neck. Otherwise, just gaze up to the sky. And close your eyes here if it feels good. Taking 3 really deep, slow breaths through the nose. you're done, knees coming into the chest. Don't forget the hug on the way through. And then moving the knees out the other direction. Right arm can come out to the side, right shoulder pressing down into the ground. Gaze maybe over the right fingertips and closing the eyes here. 3 deep, deep breaths. Calming back through center. Final hug before Shavasana, resting pose here. And then you're going to come out into Shavasana. Feet can come mat's distance apart or even wider. Toes just falling to the sides. Palms face up, shoulders pressing down. And closing the eyes here. And before you get into Shavasana, just checking if there's any anxiety, worry still somewhere in your body. And if there is, just notice where in your body you feel it. And just imagine that it's kind of like a mist in your body, in that part of your body where you feel it. And imagine it just lifting out of your body. And then it just moves on. You can even imagine there's a breeze and it just carries away that mist and that worry and that anxiety, just allowing you to let it go. And then just checking in with the rest of your body, just scanning your body, making sure every part of you feels relaxed and is able to let go. You can let go of control of your breath here. Just sinking down into the mat. Give yourself this gift of doing nothing. It's so good for you. a little bit of movement in your body. Maybe wiggling toes, fingers, circling wrists or ankles. And then you can reach your arms up overhead, finding length. And bringing knees into the chest. Give yourself a final hug of the class. You deserve it, you're worth it. And rolling onto your right side, bring your right arm underneath your head as a pillow. Feels good. Fetal pose, feeling the ground there beneath you to support you. Slowly coming up, pressing yourself into a seated pose. Sitting up super tall, keeping your eyes closed. Palms can rest facing upwards, thumbs and index fingers touching. Really being open to what the world has to offer. Without the anxiety. We're going to just work a little bit on square breathing here. We'll inhale for 4. We'll hold the breath in for 4. We'll exhale for 4. And hold the breath out for 4. So I'll count you through it. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. So letting go of the pauses here, still breathing through your nose. Just checking in with yourself, with your body, with your emotions, and with your mind. Without any judgment, just notice how you're doing. Bringing hands to the heart center. Inhale, we're going to reach out and all the way up, collecting things that help us to find peace within us. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, hands to the heart. One last time. Inhaling, reach up. And exhale, hands to the heart center. Finding some gratitude towards yourself for taking the time for your mind and your body this morning. And bringing your hands up to the third eye center between the eyebrows. Such a pleasure guiding you all through your practice today. Thank you for your energy. Namaste.